We will be going to Port Calverton, where Renee Burke is standing by. When we come back, Dr. Philip Dunmore will return, and perhaps we can get an update on what is happening at the Daedalus Nuclear Power Station. Now here's Renee Burke. Renee?
This is the Port Calverton to Port Jude ferry terminal. Since about mid-afternoon, this place has been packed with people trying to leave Clay Island. So far, officials say they've already made 4 extra trips across the Clay Island Sound. They say the ferries will continue to run throughout the night. However, after this next trip, they will not be transporting any more cars on the ferry, just people. As a result, automobiles have been abandoned in line. There is no more vehicle access to these ramps. The tow trucks that were here a half hour ago, they've all left. Apparently there's been some price gouging among charter boat captains. Some of these captains are charging people $200 a person for the 1-hour trip across the Sound to Port Jude. A ferry worker told me he could guarantee me a space on the ferry for about $25. All in all, it's not a pretty sight here. I'm Renee Burke for CBCN Eyewitness News at the Port Calverton Ferry Terminal.
Okay, thank you, Renee. I'm back again now with Dr. Philip Dunmore of the Havensbrook National Laboratory. Thank you for staying with us, Dr. Dunmore. Dr. Dunmore, can you shed any further light on what's happening at the plant?
Actually, I have nothing new. Your station has all the information that is available at this time.
Well, Doctor, you just spent 20 minutes, I know, on the phone with top officials of both the NRC and PALCO. Certainly you must have something that you can tell us.
Colin, I don't want to sound evasive, but there is nothing new at this time. There is...
Well, there is what, Doctor?
Well, there is nothing new that can be discussed here.
Well, what are you referring to?
National security. That's what I'm referring to.
Excuse me, Doctor, but I still don't quite understand what you're getting at.
Quite frankly, sabotage.
That's a pretty serious charge, Doctor.
No, I am not saying that the plant has become victim of sabotage. I am simply saying that there is a consideration at times like these, and it is a possibility that will be looked into once this crisis has passed.
Dr. Dunmore, you do have friends at the Daedalus plant, don't you?
Yes, I do. Good friends.
And aren't you concerned for their safety?
Well, they have told me that there has been a small a small fire in the reactor building that caused 2 other fires. They tell me that 4 people were killed inside the reactor building. But now all is under control and there is no cause for alarm.
Excuse me, Doctor, but we were told that only 2 people were killed inside the reactor and 1 person outside.
I didn't realize that. I thought you had reported 4.
Well, just a moment. Doctor, excuse me, we have been told now that the SEMA team has arrived at the gate of the plant, so we're going to be going to John Tilford right now. If you'll hang in with us, please.
That's right, Colin. It's been a very hectic day out here, and the weather's not helping us out at all. It's really starting to come down. However, right now I'm with Jamie Weber of the SEMA team. Mr. Weber, what is the holdup?
I'm not sure.
Why did SEMA send you here? How many people are in your group?
Well, there's 4 of us in our group. There's myself, Jim Handy, he's a nuclear startup engineer, Lou Morocco, a physicist and jack of all trades, and Celia Majikowski. She's an expert in emergency evacuation. She's got quite a job ahead of her today. SEMA is here to monitor and help the utility put the plant back into a safe position.
Tell me, Mr. Weber, why aren't you going directly into the plant? What's the delay?
Well, the guards asked us to wait here. I'm sure it'll be just a short wait.
John, can you ask Mr. Weber what he's been told about the accident?
Mr. Weber, what information do you have as to what the problem is with the plant?
We've been en route most of the afternoon. You probably have more information than we do.
Well, is there the possibility of sabotage?
Step over here. Excuse me.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, this is a public access.
I understand that. Please, right now we have a situation.
I'm sorry, Colin. The public has a right to know what is going on.
Please turn off the camera.
Well, we just want to find out why Mr. Weber is not being allowed inside the plant.
Please. Excuse me. Can you please...
Do you have any comment about the possibility of sabotage?
John, okay?
Colin, I'm sorry. We're not getting anything at this point. The guards don't want us anywhere near even the main gate, and Mr. Weber has not been given clearance, I suppose, to get inside. Although I really don't know what is going on because they're not giving us any information. The guards are not saying anything. When we get more information, we'll be back. We'll cut in back to you. For now, this is John Tilford, CVCN News 9.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again, and we have with us again Dr. Philip Dunmore of the Havensbrook National Laboratory in Washington, D.C. via satellite. Doctor, thank you for staying with us. Doctor, forgive me for pursuing this particular line of questioning, but it would be convenient if a major accident could be attributed to sabotage rather than to technical or human error. Isn't that correct?
I'm not quite sure where you're heading.
Well, Doctor, if there was a meltdown or a serious leakage of radioactivity, this, of course, would jeopardize the entire nuclear industry. Isn't that correct?
That's self-evident. You know it would.
Well, then do you expect sabotage to be the excuse to come out tomorrow morning?
I resent that implication.
Well, forgive me, Doctor, but let me ask a question point blank. Wouldn't it benefit the nuclear industry, Havensbrook, Palco, and the NRC if a serious accident could be put at the doorstep of a saboteur instead of the shortcomings of the technology?
Excuse me. Well, no more questions.
Doctor,
Can you somebody help me with this microphone, please?
Dr. Dunmore?
I'm sorry, no more questions.
Doctor, please stay with us, all right? Hello, Doctor?
Can somebody please help me with this microphone?
Can he hear me? I guess okay, he's disconnected himself. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Philip Dunmore of the Havensbrook National Laboratory, and Kendra, I believe Kendra has something for us now. Kendra?
Colin, we have just gotten word that Director Paul Casarini's wife and children are okay. Earlier, they had been in an automobile accident while in the evacuation, but they are fine. And if you're watching, Paul, our best wishes to Lisa and the kids. Colin.
Thank you, Kendra. That's very good news. As you may or may not know, Paul Castorini is our director, and we've been working without him for quite some time here during the course of this event. All I can ask is that you bear with us. We are presenting the news as quickly as it becomes available to us, and it's coming at us at a rather intense pace. It's a little frantic around here right now. You may have to deal with some minor glitches and technical difficulties, and all I can say is that we're doing the best that we can under the circumstances. And I understand right now that we have Renee Burke at the Port Calverton Ferry Terminal with a report. Renee?
About a half hour ago, a small boat capsized just outside of the ferry terminal here. The boat was carrying over 50 passengers, and it made it out about 150 yards before it began to take water. The boat is called the Lady of the Mist, and it was captained by a Mr. Donald Rumfield. Rumfield apparently tried to make it back to shore, but the boat ended up sinking where it was, just offshore. Fortunately, it was during low tide, so the boat sank in only 5 feet of water. However, there was one casualty. Apparently, one of the passengers suffered a heart attack. With me right now is Lori Fitzgerald from Brooklyn, New York. She was on the boat when it went down, and as you can see, she's still a little shaken up. Lori, tell us what happened.
Well, we were all jammed onto the boat, and it was like being in a subway car at rush hour, only it was worse. And at first it was fun, but then we felt water at our feet. Everybody panicked, and the boat went straight down. After the initial panic, everybody, though, pulled together and helped each other out, and we felt the boat go down and hit bottom.
What are you going to do now?
I'm going to get off this damned island as fast as I can.
At the Port Calverton Ferry Terminal, I'm Renee Burke.
Thank you, Renee. To bring us up to date, this recap. At 11:23 this morning, there was a flash fire at the Daedalus Nuclear Power Station. As a result of the fire, 2 other fires occurred in the vicinity of the core of the reactor building. It is not clear at this time whether or not the plant has gone into automatic shutdown. Both the utility, Palco, and the county have called for evacuation of the surrounding area. Reports indicate that people attempting to evacuate are not having much success. Back at the plant, however, engineers and technicians have arrived and are waiting to get inside to help in this shutdown process. We do not know if the NRC officials are at hand at the plant. In fact, we have not had one report from the NRC all day. What we do know is 3 men were killed in that fire this morning at the plant, and we think there may have been a 4th. Right now, we will be switching to Tom Walsh, who was on his way back to the studio.
Kendra, I'm near exit 57 of the expressway. Traffic is at a standstill. A few minutes ago, I had interviewed some commuters trying to make their way to various destinations from the evacuation. What are your feelings about this traffic tie-up in the evacuation?
I'm terrified.
Where are you going, sir?
What, are you kidding? I'm not going anywhere.
Let me rephrase the question. Where would you like to be going?
Anywhere off Clay Island. I'm gonna find a good attorney and sue the hell out of Palco.
I take it that you're annoyed?
Yeah, I'm pissed. I'm livid.
We're back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I understand now that John Tilford is in the control room of the Daedalus Nuclear Power Station.
Before we go to John, I just feel that we do have an obligation to tell our viewers what exactly has been happening here at the station.
Yes, you're right, Kendra. What Kendra means is that this station has been asked not to air the events taking place inside the power plant. And after weighing the consequences, the station management has made a decision that our moral and ethical obligation supersedes all other considerations. We will therefore now turn this broadcast over to John Tilford, live from the Daedalus Nuclear Power Plant. John, are you there?
Colin, I'm in the control room of the Daedalus plant right now. I was surprised to find much less activity than I had anticipated. There seems to be a sense of mild resolve here. I haven't spoken to any of the workers yet, but from what I can see, nothing seems to be out of order. Yes, we were challenged once on our way up here. Two men, one from the utility itself and one from the NRC, asked us to wait while they contacted somebody from the administration building. And then Jamie Weber got on the phone, and after some very strong language by Jamie, we were given clearance to come here into the control room. Jamie feels, however, that the problem is not in here, not in the control room, but down in the reactor itself. The SEMA team, which is working with Jamie, is now making notes. I don't know if you, Colin, I don't know if you heard that or saw what just happened, but we just had a tremor. That was the third tremor we've had since we've been in here. It feels kind of like we're having minor earthquakes here. Evidently what's happening, from what I've learned, they're dumping water. They're dumping contaminated water from the reactor vessel itself, and in doing so that causes a vacuum, and relieving the pressure of the vacuum is causing the movements. And right now, oh, that was a big one. Jesus Christ. That was a real big one there. I don't mind telling you, it doesn't give me the greatest confidence in the world. But anyway, Jamie is trying to figure out what exactly the problem is. We're waiting until he gets back so we can talk to him and find out some more information. Excuse me, sir, my name is John Tilford of CBC, and what is your name, sir?
Damn it, John, I've asked you to hold off on the interviews. I told you I wouldn't keep you in the dark, didn't I? And this is a very, very touchy situation. You're only going to aggravate it.
Excuse me, Jamie, Colin Giles back in the studio wants to know if you can give us any information.
At this point, there is nothing new. I mean, it's just too early to judge. I have Jim, Cecilia, and Lou checking out the basic safety systems, and everything looks all right, but I got to be honest with you, the tremors aren't any good. Now, listen, you got to excuse me, please.
Colin, we'll come back to you if we have something more.